want a long and lasting career that just gets better and better and better, you have to be honest and you have to be you. And that's the power of being you. You get to leave a legacy. Michael Jackson had a legacy. Pharrell Williams has a legacy. Celine Dion, Enya, Annie Lennox. All these people have legacies because they are being honest. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. This is Zephyr Kambata from Singapore and welcome to my YouTube channel. For today's video, I'm tapping into stories from my life and giving you a little bit of the behind the scenes and how everything comes together in the image that you see in front of you, both physically, which is you're looking at me, and also my various pursuits, companies, products, services, and music, of course, which I started with. How it all comes together successfully and how I navigate through a life that's very, very interesting and that throws many other people off. But for me, it's a matter of a couple of hours navigating something and then I'm back on the same track that I set out to be. And of course, as I've become more evolved throughout my life and as I grow older and start family and so on and so forth, this is starting to get easier and easier, although life seems to be getting harder and harder from another person's perspective. It's been a long and interesting year, 2020, and I'd like to share with you some examples of how the power of being you and genuinely you can really affect your business, your health, your career, your relationships, and really your mental and emotional peace. Some of you have problems appearing on camera, or even sharing your story with anyone, or even getting out of the house, or even dressing up. So my simple solution to this is to be me, and to be me genuinely, and this holds a rather strong power. And like Will Smith says, when you decide what you want to do, and you let the universe know, the universe kind of just gets out of your way and it kind of behaves like water, like it goes around you once you've decided where you want to be. As you may be able to tell from this video, or if you aren't able to tell, then I'll tell you, I'm feeling really, really happy right now. Maybe that's coming through in my smile and in my face, and maybe it's not, but let me tell you I am. So let's talk about appearance right now. So for me, I don't like very complicated dressing, and I don't like to waste time. And obviously I live in Singapore, which is a tropical paradise, which means one day it's sunny till you're sweating, it's really humid and you're wet by the time you get to work, inside, outside, all sorts of places on your body, it's just dripping wet. And on other days it's rainy and really, really cold, you know, not as cold as Canada, but it's cold for the people who are used to that sun. So I don't like to complicate my dressing. So to solve that, what I did was I went to the shop we have here called Uniqlo, which is maybe the equivalent of a Gap in the western side of the world. And I buy these t-shirts, which is a plain t-shirt. For those of you who don't know what's called, it's called Supima. If you're in Singapore and you want to buy this from Uniqlo, it's a Supima t-shirt. And it's cheap. It's like $15 to $20 per shirt. Solves my decision fatigue problems in the morning because you do have a set amount of energy in your brain every day where, and I'm putting that loosely of course, where you get to make decisions creatively only up to a certain point, after which you're tired. And I don't like to waste that on clothing. So it's a simple one color t-shirt depending on my mood for the day. Black is a good color for people like me who are, I wouldn't say airy-fairy, but we're spiritually tuned, so we absorb a lot of energies and we get very affected by the things going on around us. Black is kind of a grounding color. Black is also a pure color spiritually because it symbolizes nothingness or everything, whichever way you want to look at it. If you look at my photos from 2 years ago, this is my face right now, I look 5 years older than I was 2 years ago. That's because, you know, we had a kid, poor management of sleep, lots of businesses and ideas starting this year and the past. So a lot of stress, obviously, from business. And from someone who's new to business and isn't in a family who does business, it's a lot to cope with in a big mental change. And back and forth because your old self tries to get that. So a lot of tiredness. You can see these dark circles here. And those of you who are going like, what's wrong with you? You look great. Like, Previously, these dark circles were not here. Check out my hair, for example. 5-10 years back when I had thick hair, which even every barber in Singapore would be like, my God, you have this rugby ball of a head. You know, if you look my head sideways, I don't know what that means, but to me, it's my own head, so it's always looked this way. But a lot of the barbers would go like, man, you have this huge head, like it takes time to shave. My hair would be really thick because I'm Persian by race. Recently, it got more thin, as I don't know if this is male pattern baldness or an Air Force pilot friend of mine was telling me it's because you used to ride a bike and you put on the helmet and you did not put on the head covering before that. And they tell us that in pilot school, he was telling me, where the lack of oxygen combined with the bacteria, combined with the could make your hair fall off, okay? Could be that. Some rumors and old wives' tales say, like, you know, the hornier you are or the more testosterone you have in your body, the more likely you are to lose hair. That's possible, I won't deny that. I'm a very excitable male. Yes, I am married, and some people would think, oh, that would make it better. No, this would actually make it worse, because now I have a beautiful woman around me all the time. So it actually makes it worse. But anyway, so there's that. But you see what I'm doing here is I'm coming onto this video. Yes, I've had a haircut where we kind of shave the sides, because in male pattern baldness, the sides grow faster than the top. So if I don't shave my head, it's kind of going to look like this, and this part will be bald. So we try to reverse the look. Not to lie or anything, it just looks better, it just looks more presentable. But now you can see that this part is starting to grow out again, and you see here it has not grown, so there's a bit of a lighter patch here. So if I look down, you can see what I'm talking about over here. That's something I'm being honest with myself about, and being honest with you guys about by appearing on this video. I'm not hiding it, I'm just appearing as is. Some people would want to hide that. They would say, oh, I'm balding, there's no way I'm going to go on a video and put this out publicly. And I'm happy to do that. And this lack of apology and this lack of pretense really preserves your energy and helps you boost what you'd like to put into the world creatively for the rest of the day, whether that's your business, your relationships, your mental health, your hobbies, whatever it might be. It preserves that energy just from not lying and just by being honest to ourselves, right? And this is one of the things, which is the title of this video, The Power of Being You, which has helped me succeed a lot where people have not. Just by being innocent, by being honest, by being straightforward and wearing your heart on your sleeve. That's how you get ahead in life. Well, I say that in inverted commas because life is not about getting ahead. But maybe you're at the stage where you need to get ahead for something or the other, in some pursuit or the other, and that will really, really help you. So I urge you to try that out in your life. Now this year was a little bit of a topsy-turvy year, to say the least, for all of us. Unless you're a billionaire or something, then maybe it was different for you, I'm not sure. But however, for most of us, it was a topsy-turvy year. Now, I'm going to share my personal example, and this is something I've not done before in terms of my innermost thoughts, but I think putting it out there is going to help a lot of people, and it doesn't take away anything from me. In fact, when people hear what my innermost thoughts are about this, and they can help, or they can support me in certain ways, or we align, we might even make new friendships. So, I've always had this image identity crisis as a multi-creative of who am I? Am I a designer? Am I a pop artist? Am I a singer-songwriter? Am I a drummer? Am I a music producer? Am I a fitness guru who's trying to do music? Am I actually just a writer, but I'm trying to do all these other things that I'm not writing? Am I a video creator? Am I a speaker? Am I an actor? Because I've done all these things. Which one am I? And how do I want to proceed? Obviously, I cannot create products around 8 of these things all at the same time and monetize them all at the same time. I know nothing's impossible, but it's really, really hard to do and doesn't fit into your day. So recently, especially after I've been through a few theta healings, and I've decided to be more and more and more and more honest with myself each day about who I am and what I do and what I want to do and what I want to put out into the world. It really helped me to clarify this business branding issue that I've been having for years, because that's what happens when you have a lot of skills and talents in different areas. And more than skills and talents, It's about when you have interests in many areas, because that stuff is really hard to shut off. I have a friend. He is a salesperson in the daytime, always progressing to higher and higher levels of sales positions in the corporate space. But he has a deep interest in military and machines. So after work, he's always reading up about machines and so on. Now, we see how 2 hours of his day every day, or 1 hour a day, gets occupied by reading about this stuff. Now that's time out of his life that's going away. Now, he has to be true to himself to be mentally at peace that he's spending these 1 or 2 hours on that. Because if he wasn't true to himself, his wife or his parents or his kids even, or he himself might question like, oh, I'm wasting 2 hours a day on this, I need to stop it, right? Now you may say, what's wrong with that? It's a good thing, he might end up saving time. Well, he might, but after a while, there's going to be dissonance in his system and he's going to end up getting stressed because he has no outlet for his creativity and his inner interest or pursuit of knowledge. And whatever comes from inside usually comes from your soul, and we should be encouraging that stuff. And he's going to end up dissonant and a little bit stressed, at least to some extent. But by being honest with himself, he's saving that mental trauma and that dissonance and that stress. So he ends up being that much more happy and peaceful. So the same thing happened in my business. This year for myself during COVID-19, I ended up starting a health course. It's called The Top 2 Total Transformation. You can check it out on my website, or the links will be below. Thought that that's all I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And I went into it crazily. And when I saw income coming in for the first time from a business idea of mine that had worked, I got excited. And when I got excited, I started to sell different things. And I became this entrepreneur person, which I am, of course, inside. But I started to sell many, many things. And I got a lot of money. And then I realized, okay, now the next 8 to 10 weeks, I've got to do the service delivery, because these were all services I was selling, not objects. And the service delivery just flattened me. I just died. I was back to back to back to back every day for like 10, 12 weeks straight, like I've never been before. And then I got so burnt out. I had to take 3 months after that, all the way till November, just contemplating life. Because that's what happens when you get burnt out. You start questioning everything, like, oh, this is crazy. And I realized, okay, I gotta pause. I gotta be honest with myself about what's working, what's serving me, what I'm excited about doing every day, and how I can make this very, very natural. It has to be natural and it has to feel good inside. And I realized, yes, fitness and health is something that's close to my heart, and it has been for a long time. But that is not all I'm going to be doing in my life, because there are other things that are also close to my heart. And when you stop one thing that's close to your heart in your life, you just quit it, we have a problem. Because your soul doesn't agree with that. And for those of you who are tuned into your soul, and that's a lot of us, with all the upgrades happening on the planet right now, when you're tuned into your soul, it's gonna come back and haunt you when you've given up something that you love, because anything that you love comes from the soul. And so I realized very quickly, I cannot be quitting the other things that I love, which are music, which are content creation, which are talking about life, like in this video, and helping you guys out with different things, and sharing my life journey, and writing, and coming out with quotes, and being an activist online. Well, because I live in a country where you don't do physical activism, you can do online activism. And honestly, the way technology is structured these days, it doesn't matter where you do it, as long as you change everyone's perception, or inspire them to start changing their own perception towards better and better outcomes for them and everyone around them, and basically create a better society on planet Earth. Wow, that sounds like a mess to organize into a business. And it is a mess to organize in a business if I wasn't clear about how I wanted to do it. And yesterday, a moment of clarity struck in the shower, where I realized very quickly that instead of branding these products and services under big company names for the future, I first had to start very simply with, if I wanted to get a product out there. So for example, my course, The Top to Toe Transformation, it's everything I know about health, right? And depending on when you're watching this video, there might already be the channel for it, which is probably a playlist. If you're watching this 2-3 years after this video, it's already a playlist on my YouTube channel. This channel, it's a playlist from my other channel for the product. So if the top to toe transformation is a product, it came into my head yesterday while I was taking a shower. I'm a water sign and I connect very well with my soul in the water, that product has to be just that product. The Instagram has to be for just that product. The YouTube channel has to be for just that product. The Facebook page has to be for just that product. The product itself, of course, is called just that product. And that's an entity by itself. It's a product or a service or whatever it might be. For me, it's a service and a product mixed. So that entity is by itself. Yes, there's a parent company name, of course, because you live in a country, you have to register a business and blah, blah, blah. But that product is going to live by itself. Because it's created by me, it's going to be a product under my name eventually, or wherever I put it under, company name or my name or collective name or whatever it might be, but the product has to have solid branding. So the product, the top to toe transformation, or for short, the T5 method, has to have a T5 method Instagram if I want an Instagram, a T5 method YouTube if I want a YouTube, a T5 method Facebook page if I want a Facebook page, and it has to all be under the T5 method, and that's just one product. And I realized, oh, okay, so every course I create can be a product by itself, which on my website can all be under me, under a course tab or a products tab or a services tab. They can all have little pictures and images linking to each of their websites, right? And then I realized another thing, which is I had this parent company name called 3Part Human, which is a name I channeled spiritually. But I don't necessarily have to put the top to toe transformation media online under 3Part Human's page. It can be under the top to toe transformation page. So anything I do fitness related, I never have to worry ever again about which channel to put it under. Should I put it under my personal channel? Should I put it under the company channel? It should go under the product channel. That makes the most sense because I plan to put out a lot of free content for two reasons, as we all do. One is, of course, to help the viewer, obviously, as you're deriving help from listening to this video about how to simplify your life. The other reason is to then sell that product to the user or the customer or the client or whatever you want to call them, and to, in a way, make it easier for them to make that purchase. So it's easier for us to sell, but it's also easier for them to buy because they trust the brand now, because there's a lot of free content that all is amazing, and they can only wonder what must this amazing system be that this person has put together for us. And of course, I'm talking from a service point of view here. If you're a service provider just like me, you like to coach, you like to teach, you like to talk, you like to explain, that's your thing. It's my thing for sure, as you can tell. So if it's your thing as well, then I feel that's the way to go. And then on my personal page, the solution that came to me and my personal YouTube channel, which is this channel, which is I'll share my journey from life as I go through these various things, the products, the services, the coaching, what degrees I take on, what life experiences I have, what relationships I go through, and so on. And put all that life stuff on my personal YouTube channel, which is this YouTube channel. This channel talks about life, and it's me sharing my life. So there can't be a better name for these videos than my name, because it's my life. You may share similar experiences, so we may become friends, but the video is still from a context and example of my life. So it has to be under my name for the YouTube channel. Also on this YouTube channel, you will find things that I publish as me, as the author or the creator or the originator or the producer of the idea. For example, music. So that's how being me made me sort out my business plans. And so you have to sort out your business plans or your career plan based on who you are. How many hours a day do you want to show up to an office to? How many hours a day do you want to work on your business? Are there parts of your business that you don't particularly like? For me, that is service delivery. I love helping people and I love serving people, but I don't like service delivery as much as I enjoy creating things. So some people go, what are you talking about? You're a great teacher. You love talking to people. You love explaining to people. Cool. Now take that and double it, because that's my scores on personality tests, where the creative side of me is twice that. Imagine the amount of joy I would have teaching someone. Now that double that amount of joy is the amount of joy I have when I'm creating something like this video or a new song or a new piece of artwork for a song, or maybe in the future I might design things outside music. I don't know. I might become a designer if I like design enough. Who knows? That being honest really could help to shape your business. Now, early in the year, I got into coaching where I hired some business coaches, and they said, we'll help you go from this much a month to this much amount of money a month. They'll help you go from this to that, and so on and so forth. And all that sounds great. But to be honest, I wasn't resonating with a lot of that stuff. Yes, I got a little bit better at sales, but that's not what I wanted to do. I didn't want to keep delivering to clients around the clock on a timeline. I prefer creating because I am apparently a creative person. I didn't know this about me when I was in childhood. Maybe it was my parents, because they were stuck in the immigrant survival mindset. And so I thought that I hated creativity. And to be truthfully honest, I sucked at it. In arts class, I used to start to cry because I didn't know what to put on that paper. I hadn't given myself the permission to try art and to try music. I used to run out of the class and hide with my recorder, this instrument that we had in Singapore in the music classes. I used to just bluff my way through because I couldn't hear melody, or I thought I couldn't. Now I have had a song of mine featured on MTV, VH1, the radio, so on. So clearly I could listen to melody and I could hear it. There was a resistance then, there was a blockage. I realized that I'm the type of person who likes creating content in a business more than I do selling it or delivering the service. And so for those of us, or those of you who are like me, you like to create and you like to doodle, what we call in the arts world, the kind of business that might be suitable for you, you could still have those products packaged up, whether they are physical products or they are services in an online course or consulting or whatever that might be, recorded videos, however you want to do it. But then you might benefit from creating content like this video, for example, rather than picking up the phone and selling. So you let your material do the selling, because as you come across this YouTube video, you might be having very many thoughts. You might be thinking, okay, this dude's dressing like I want to dress. Maybe I should buy his course about how to dress simply. Maybe you're having hair loss like I was having, and you might go like, okay, maybe I should get his course on, how to still look very neat and polished even though I'm having hair loss. I used to suffer from a lot of acne, and not acne, but the humid weather in Singapore kind of messes with your skin a little bit. And so I have a course. Depending on when you're watching this video, I might have a course on how to deal with that if you're living in a humid country. So you might resonate with that, and you might go like, hey, I just want to go buy that. And all these courses are affordable. You just go to my website and you click buy and you get the videos and you enjoy yourself. You're enjoying yourself and you're learning and you're benefiting and your life is improving. I'm benefiting and enjoying and learning how to sell that and grow a business. Obviously the money that comes in is the energy exchange for the product or service, and that energy is used to obviously then feed my family or ensure my longevity so I can keep making the stuff and serving the planet. So it's a beautiful cycle, and it's an upward spiral, you see, when you follow what you like. So I like talking, explaining, breaking down complex concepts into simple ones and making videos like this. So that method of business will succeed for me much better long term than picking up the phone and making sales calls. I'm just not a sales call kind of guy. Although people say I'm great at sales, it's not that I'm great at sales, I'm great at explaining. And the kind of customers that want to hear the explanation end up buying, because I like explaining and they like to be explained to, and that's a perfect match. That's not the same as being good at sales. Being good at sales means you can sell anything to anyone, or at least aspiring towards that. Now that's good at sales. I'm not good at sales. I'm just good at explaining. I wouldn't want to sell something to, and also have the kind of personality where I wouldn't want to sell something to someone just to make a buck if they don't want it, because I'm not that kind of person. I don't go around buying things I don't want to buy because I can, or because the salesperson told me to. So I don't do the same to other people, and I don't like to. So that model doesn't work. I can never be a good salesperson. And I'm okay with that because that's not me. So if I ever start a company and I have staff, I'll hire someone who likes sales to be the salesperson, because then when everybody starts doing the things they like, there's synchronicity and the wheel turns really beautifully. And I have made a video on this. It's called Whose Life Are You Living? So you can check that out on my YouTube channel as well. I'll try to put the link somewhere here. I'm not sure how YouTube works yet, but somewhere around here. So music, whether you like to look at it as a hobby or a career, for me, I look at it as both. I think the two are mingled and mashed together. A lot of people in the music industry would disagree, but that's their perception. My perception is, and really my truth is, that because it's a hobby and an interest for me, I will never stop doing it because it's fun. And because I never stop doing it, it turns into a career. Because when you do something repeatedly over and over and over again, you get better at it. So a lot of people I'll talk to, I'll tell them, yeah, I kind of make music on the side, and they'll look at the tracks and they'll go, that doesn't sound like someone who makes music on the side. It sounds like you really know what you're doing. Like you might not be Beyonce yet, like maybe you've not developed your singing skills till there, or you've not pursued being a pop artist full time, so you may not be that famous. But from an audio standpoint and the catchiness of the music and the soul behind the music and just the whole production itself, doesn't seem like someone who's doing it on the side only. It seems like you know professionally what you're doing. Well, I do. That's not because of luck or because I'm blessed or because, well, it could be because you're blessed with a gift from your soul contract, but it's not just because of that. It's because, like the whole point of this video is, it's because I'm being myself. So inside you, you have a unique flavor. So I know, okay, I want my tracks to sound like this. I want the artwork to look like this. And I'm happy with that. And I'm honest with that. And what happens when you're honest is you accurately exemplify where you are in your journey because you put that out. And when you put that out over a period of time, you show the journey. And that would make sense to anyone, because when they look back at your YouTube channel and go, this track was put out in 2021, yeah, that's pretty good. And when they look back, they go, oh, this track was in 2015, it's not that good, or the production quality may be that good, but the lyrical content might be totally different, because at that point this person was a teenager. Now they're a father. The stuff they're writing about and the music they're making about, and because they've been spiritually healing themselves and evolving through life, the feeling that the music's given me is very different. You know, it's from a different era in this person's life. And that's honesty. And that's the truth. And the good news about that is the real industry critiques might look at that and go, wow, this person's actually an artist. They're going through their life journey and putting out music along the way. That's what every great artist has ever done. They've just been honest with themselves. No artist, well, not no artist, but the greatest artists of all time, you can hear it in the music. There's no lie in their voice. They're not lying about anything. They're just being who they are at that moment. And there's no other way to build a music career. So that's a music career pro tip for you guys. If you want a long and lasting career that just gets better and better and better, you have to be honest and you have to be you. And that's the power of being you. You get to leave a legacy. Michael Jackson had a legacy. Pharrell Williams has a legacy. Celine Dion, Enya, Annie Lennox. All these people have legacies because they are being honest. There's no shame in saying, yeah, 5 years ago I was like a disco / punk rock / metalhead musician. And now I'm in a new stage in my life where for some reason I was locked at home during the lockdown and I made instrumentals. And next year, and I'm telling you the truth about my life here, I might have my own home studio in our new house, and that would give me time to work on recording my vocals. So you might hear tracks if you look at my YouTube channel a few years later, depending on when you're looking at this, if you scroll back to 2021, you might see some tracks there with me on vocals. And if you look at the different release dates, the ones towards the end of the year would be better vocally than the ones before, because I would have improved. And that's just life, and that's the power of being you. So I think that strategy is amazing, and that's something I've always done, and I've built a life business in a sense, where when you look back on your life and you look at your own website and you look at things by the year, anyone can see like, oh, they're being totally like honest, like legit. Like it doesn't put me off. It doesn't scare me like, whoa, like that's some kind of packaging where this person is so hot and they're so talented and they're so skilled and they're so all over the media and they're like the next big thing. Whoa, that's like, it's almost scary. And you don't know, you know, those people, when you look at those celebrities who are like, just everything is so made up about them. If they appear in front of you, like you wouldn't, unless you're very secure, you wouldn't know what to talk to them about. You'd be like scared, embarrassed, shy, blah, 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 many versions of the same thing. But when you look at someone who's putting it out honestly, you don't feel intimidated by the person. And I feel that leads to better and better relationships, and also that leads to honesty, and you can start to trust that person. And true enough, so far, when I've approached anyone for a collaboration in music, nobody has said no. When I've approached anyone for a collaboration in business, nobody has said no. Because when they look at the stuff there, they see honesty, they see truthfulness, and they see progression. Because when you're honest and truthful, and you keep doing those things by being honest because you have nothing to hide, you get better. And when you get better, people want to start working with you. So that's one of the tricks, tips or tricks, whichever way you want to look at it, that I use. And so that's, coming back to the topic, that's the branding I arrived at. That, okay, this branding would be perfect for me because it's all honest. There's nothing to hide. There's nothing to make up. I don't have to pretend. I don't have to put up a pretense. And when you don't need to put up a pretense, life becomes easier. So you see, by being yourself and being honest to yourself and true to yourself, things start to click and unfold in a way that will make you feel peaceful eventually. Sure, there are some action steps that need to be taken there, but it really, really benefits you, and it really, really helps you to stand out and stand apart and also get mental peace, because you know that you're at peace with what you've done. It doesn't matter what anybody else says, but you should feel good about it. You should go to sleep at night happy, like, yes, this is the message I want to put out into the world, whatever that might be, depending on the stage of your journey. That's all for today. This video was a slightly long one, but I presume you have derived a lot of benefit from it. I hope you have. And if you have and any parts resonated, I'd love it if you could put it in the comments below and let me know which parts resonated and which parts are useful to you, and if there's any topic you'd like to hear a little bit more on, and that would help me shape the content on this channel to make it more and more beneficial for you. That's that synchronicity I'm talking about, because if you don't benefit, I don't benefit. So we all should benefit and take each other in an upward spiral. So thanks so much for listening to this. My name is Zephyr, and I really love you guys. Today a friend sent me a picture. It says, make it a norm to tell your friends that you love them. Keep repeating it, tell them too much, and make it weird. So I love you guys. Once again, my name is Zephyr Kambata. I live in Singapore. This is my YouTube channel. If you liked the video, please click like. And if you'd like to see more of such content which can help you in your business, your health, your life, your relationships, and just living a life of freedom, which is my whole jam and what I've done, then please, please, please subscribe to this channel and share this with your friends. Let's all have a good time. Thank you and have a great day ahead. Bye-bye.